In our first film, we looked at the way in which farming in the UK could be adapted to address the serious threats of climate change, biodiversity loss, and declining public health, highlighting the need to restore the balance between food production, wildlife, and the environment. In this second film, we'll explore the implications for our diets, because the only way that sustainable farming systems can thrive is if we eat the foods that they produce. The first question that we need to explore is, if sustainable and regenerative farming practices were applied right across the UK, how much food would be produced overall? And secondly, how much of each food type could we produce, including grains, vegetables, and livestock products such as meat and dairy? So let's examine the key findings. If sustainable farming systems were adopted nationwide, there would be major changes in productivity. On the one hand, we would be able to produce more fruits and vegetables and pulses such as peas and beans, and about the same amount of lamb and beef, with less dairy production. On the other hand, we would produce far less grain, perhaps 50% of current levels, and much less chicken and pork. Prices would also need to change to reflect these changes in output, and we would need to adjust our diets accordingly. Why is this? The key change in food output relates to the avoidance of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. This is because the only way that farmers can avoid using chemicals is by introducing crop rotations which include fertility-building pastures and often grazed by livestock, then followed by a succession of crops, including vegetables, grains, and pulses. Under a sustainably farmed Britain, our fruits and vegetables would be grown in a very different way. Instead of the majority being grown intensively in the east of the UK, a far greater percentage will be produced on mixed farms throughout the country, resulting in better tasting, more nutrient-dense produce. The production of cereal crops, like wheat, would fall by around 50%, but we'd still have enough grain to eat, although there wouldn't be enough surplus to feed intensive livestock. So we'd have to stop eating cheap chicken, pork, and dairy products from intensive herds altogether. Instead, we'd have livestock systems, free range, welfare-friendly, and working with the grain of nature from smaller herds where the animals would get out to grass twice a day during the grazing season in the case of dairy cows. We wouldn't produce quite as many eggs as we are used to, but they would be of much better quality from pasture-grazed free-range hens. Another key finding of our report is that we'd still have plenty of mainly grass-fed beef and lamb to eat, as these animals will play a crucial role in helping to build soil fertility during the rotations by eating grass and providing manure on mixed farming systems, transforming grassland into food that we can eat. In this way, mixed farming systems can combine vegetable, cereal, and livestock production, thus helping to restore the landscapes, with livestock products being very much part of a sustainable diet. To help farming change for the better, we will need to eat differently. An individual diet rich in fresh fruits and vegetables grown sustainably in the UK, combined with high-quality grass-fed animal products consumed in moderation, should be the future of sustainable diets in the UK. So a key question we need to ask is not, should I eat meat and dairy to be sustainable, but rather, which meat and dairy is the most sustainable, and then how much of it can I eat? and we should be asking those same questions about our fruits, vegetables and grains too. Not all diets will be the same, of course, and there will be variations depending on dietary preferences as well as religious and ethical considerations, all of which can find a place in our future food and farming systems. The most important thing to consider is where and how our foods are produced, as these factors have a huge bearing on the environmental, economic and social impact of our food choices.